Hi, I'm Dave.
Hi, I'm Carrie, and we are one adventure at a time.
We are coming up on our 1-year anniversary living in our self-converted van full-time.
Yes, and this is our second winter in the van.
Yep.
So we don't want to do an in-depth review just yet. We want to go through a whole winter, but we did want to give you a quick update. If you're still trying to decide if you should get the Little Buddy, the Wave 3, or the Wave 6, maybe this will help you decide. And stay tuned, we want to show you a very cool modification that we did to the heater installation. Before we get started, we do want to mention that we are Amazon affiliates. So when we link those links down in the description, if you purchase anything off of those, we will get a small commission.
Yep, thank you for that.
But if you just want to use those links and go check out these products, please feel free to do that as well.
Yeah, it's a good way to check out all the reviews and find out what other people are saying about them.
Yeah, and this is not a sponsored video. This is just our experiences. Last winter, we had the Little Buddy. And it worked good, but it didn't have a temperature control, so you had one temperature and it was hot.
Yeah, we were worried about our dog, Rudel, getting too close and getting burned.
Yeah, speaking of Rudel, he knows that he has us captive here in front of the camera and he's bringing us a ball.
This is ball time for him.
He thinks this is great.
So we wanted to decide between the Wave 3 and the Wave 6 heater.
Yeah.
And we talked to some other people that had vans, and the smaller vans were going with the Wave 3 and the larger vans were going with the Wave 6, and everybody liked them. But for us, we knew that we were going to be spending a lot of time in cold weather, so we ended up going with the Wave 6.
Yeah. So just a few specs about the Wave 3 and the Wave 6. The Wave 3 is at 1600 BTUs on low and 3000 BTUs on high. Now the Wave 6 starts out on low at 3000 BTUs.
3,200
BTUs, yeah. And maxes out at high at 6,000 BTUs.
And so far we've only had to use it on low. We
yeah.
haven't even had to turn it on high.
So the Wave 6 is twice as powerful as the Wave 3. Yeah. And the Wave 3 should be heating about 100 square feet, whereas the Wave 6 should be heating 200 square feet. Yeah. So Wave 6 is probably overkill for us, but we wanted to have flexibility when we are in the colder climates.
Yeah, we won't hesitate now. So if it's cold weather, we're going.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk a little bit about the pros and the cons.
Let's start with the cons.
You have to ventilate when you use this heater.
Yes. You
want fresh air all the time. It's best to open 2 different sources, like a fan and a window, or a couple different windows, so you get air circulation.
Yeah, this heater is not vented outside, so it's a must that you have ventilation when you're using it. Having said that, we don't feel that it's safe to run it while we're sleeping.
And we also don't really feel there's any need. We're under the covers at that point, so we usually just turn it on a couple hours before we go to sleep, and then maybe an hour when we wake up.
Yeah. Second con is it is a little costly. I think the Wave 3 is 200, and the Wave 6 is roughly around 250, 300. Now prices change all the time, so I'm sure that's not accurate, but the ballpark.
As far as it does create condensation because it is burning propane gas, which creates more condensation than other heat sources, but we have not had a problem with condensation.
Yeah, and that's another reason why you have to vent. If you don't vent, you will have a condensation buildup. Now, we did have some major concerns with where we mounted it.
We didn't have a lot of locations to pick from. We pretty much had one spot to put it.
Yeah. So it was a little too close to the medicine cabinet for my liking, and a tad too close to the counter as well.
Yeah, you need a certain amount of space above it and below it, and we pretty much didn't have that room.
Yes. The heat shields above were doing great, but the counter was still getting a little too warm for my liking. Even with tiles and all the things we tried, it still just wasn't an optimal situation. So we came up, well, we didn't come up with it. A viewer, Richie Rich, came up with this brilliant idea. First of all, in van life, anytime you move, everything has to be strapped down. So we have 2 eye hooks on each side and a strap. But look at this. TV mount comes away from the wall, way away from the medicine cabinet, comes out to the edge of the counter. I'll swivel it to the back just so you can see. Now we did install the wood behind the mount to save us room. So the main hose comes from the back. We did install a 2-foot hose. That gives us the leeway to move it, and when we push it back in, it just folds right back underneath and goes back. And then I'll have Dave show you the elbow fitting we put on underneath. Perfect. Problem solved. Now the other, I guess this is a con with propane, any type of propane, is you do need to install it correctly and check for leaks.
Big bubbles, big troubles. I'm testing to see if we have any gas leaks.
And?
We do. So I'm gonna put some pipe dope on it, sealer, and seal it up and then retest it. Yeah, because you're using metal fittings, and if you just put them all together, eventually you're gonna have leaks, if not right off the bat. So you have to use a sealant.
Yes.
And then you have to test and make sure that you don't have any leaks. And we did find a couple leaks.
Yeah.
And we used the correct sealant and took care of the problem.
We bought a Y splitter, and we didn't think that we would need to test that.
Yeah, it was already manufactured, so you would have thought that would not have leaked. Well, it did. So
that's where it was leaking.
So test all fittings, and we'll show you how to do that. I wanted to give you a quick overview of our propane setup, and then I'll show you how to check for leaks. So it's best to keep your propane tank outside your vehicle, but if you can't, then you build a propane box that's sealed, and that's what we did. We built one. We'll leave a link for that. And remember that you might have additions onto your tank, like regulators and a splitter, so make sure you leave that extra room. We barely left enough room to get all the regulators and piping inside of our sealed box. But it turned out it worked out okay. So right here, coming off the 20-pound tank, is a splitter. And this splitter goes to our stove on this side here, and this side here, it goes to our heater. So we bought this splitter from the store, and it came with a leak. We had to take it apart, use sealant on it, and then put it back together and test it to see, and it did. It worked after we used the sealant. The sealant that we like to use, it's a nice thick material that's got Teflon in it, and it's made for threaded pipes. So we went ahead, we sealed all of our connections right after the regulator. We have a 90 degree, so it does fit into our box. And then it goes to a quick disconnect here. So best just to grab yourself a bottle, mix it with some Dawn soap and some water, so it's gonna bubble up real good, and spray all your connections, not just the ones that you put together, but all the ones that are connected to the tank and even the tank itself. And use a lot of soap on it, and then just wait and see if you see any bubbles starting, because they'll just start appearing, and depending on how much the propane's coming out of the fitting, they'll make either a big bubble or a small bubble, but they're pretty easy to detect. Just have some patience, take a good look. And if you don't see any bubbles forming, you got good connections, you may want to test every month or two just to make sure that you don't have any leaks that start. Ours looks pretty good. On the other end of it, you'll want to check where it's connected to the heater and to whatever kind of stove that you're using to make sure you don't have any propane leaks inside your house. So I hope that helps.
And have a propane alarm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's better safe than sorry.
Final thoughts. I really like that our heater has a location where it stays all the time.
Yeah, it has a home.
Yeah, it's summer or winter, we can leave it right where it is on the wall.
Yeah.
And we don't have to hook anything up. We push a button and it's ready to go.
Ready to go.
Very convenient.
Now it is mounted a little high, but we're really happy with that position because of Rudel. When we had the little buddy, he just got way too close too many times, and now we don't even have to worry about it.
And it's not a big deal for us to use one of our small USB fans, turn it on and circulate the air.
Yeah.
And it's such a small space that the air is warm all the way down, all the way to the floor, not the floor itself. That stays pretty cold, but the air is warm all the way around the van.
I think that the final thing is, if you're going to be spending your winter in extreme cold temperatures, I think the Wave 6 might be the way to go. I think it's the right choice for us. We tend to find ourselves in under 20 degrees for sure, Fahrenheit.
There is other good heaters out there like the Webaster and the S-Bar heater. We did take a look at those. They do vent outside, which makes them very nice. And it's probably safer,
Yes.
but we just don't have any experience to share with
Yeah.
those.
We have heard that the installation is quite intensive and you wouldn't want to do it yourself, which means costly.
Over $1,000 just to install
Yeah.
from what we hear.
We hope this video helps you decide if you're still looking at a heater.
We appreciate you watching. Leave comments and we'll catch you next time.
Stay warm and stay safe. Thank you for watching.